All right. Hi everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Google Autocomplete Showdown. All right. So what we do every week is basically we go to Google and we're gonna type some words and we're gonna let the autocomplete let us know what are the burning questions that you have with regards to fitness and nutrition or anything that basically help you to get healthy and fit. All right, okay. So my name is Audi and I'm a drive coach with FuelFit. And today our episode is going to talk about the foods to lower your cholesterol. All right, okay. So let's move on really quickly. Okay, so for those of you who are watching, please let me know whether you're watching it live. Just say hi. And if you're just watching a replay, let us know as well. We're always checking out the comments. All right. And if you like what we've been doing so far, please like and subscribe to our channel. Or if you're on Facebook, do like and share with your friends as well. All right. Okay. So let me just. Okay. All right. Okay. So I think in order for you to understand what are the best food to eat to lower your cholesterol, it will be natural. Well, kind of naturally, you want to know what cholesterol is as well, right? Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, so it's important to understand what cholesterol actually really is first. Okay, so essentially, all right, it's actually this waxy fatty substance that your body already produced, all right, and what it does, right, it actually travels down your bloodstream, and then it's basically this soluble protein that transport the fats around your body, all right? So the thing is, our body actually already produces it, so we don't really need extra. However, we are actually consuming a lot of it. Well, we're not consuming cholesterol per se, or we're going to find out what actually creates that, all right? Okay, so there are actually a few parts of cholesterol, all right? So one of it, we call it the total cholesterol. Okay, so there's few things that when you go and take a blood test, this is what they measure. They'll measure your total cholesterol. They will also measure your low density lipoprotein cholesterol, which is called LDL. So these are the proteins, well, the cholesterol that basically carry your cholesterol to your body's tissues and blood vessels. So for this, because of what it does, you actually want it to be as low as possible, right? Okay. What it does is because if it carries cholesterol to your body's tissue and it deposits there, your arteries are going to start getting blocked, like traffic jam. All right. Okay. HDL, on the other hand, the high density lipoprotein cholesterol is actually what helps to take away the excessive cholesterol from your tissues. All right, and back to your liver to be removed. So HDL is what you want more of. Okay. Then, of course, when we talk about cholesterol, we also mention about triglycerides. Okay, basically they are fats that actually carry in your blood. Okay, so just imagine that if we do not have such a high level of triglycerides, then we have less fat being carried around in our blood as well, right? Okay, so what happens is when we consume excess calories, alcohol, sugar, a lot of times it will be converted into triglycerides and stored into the fat cells throughout the body. All right, okay, so this is basically what cholesterol is. All right, so we have a few people watching. So if you're here watching us live, please let me know in the comments. All right, okay, so how often should you be checking your cholesterol? Right, okay, if you are over age of 20, try to check at least once every 5 years or so. But the moment if you hit 35 years old for the gentlemen and then 45 years old for the ladies, you will want to check it a lot more frequently. All right, maybe up to 2 to 3 years. For those of you who have cholesterol issues, your doctor will probably get you to come back every year to make sure you are in check. All right, okay. So before again we go on, how do you know whether your cholesterol numbers are good, right? Okay, how do you know whether your cholesterol numbers are good? So remember, cholesterol numbers basically tells you whether you are at risk of heart diseases, basically, all right, okay? But do know that it is just part of the equation. Okay, you do need to consider your age, your blood pressure as well, whether you're on any medication for blood pressure, and then whether you're a smoker as well, okay? So this is just one of the many numbers, but there are many people who may have a lot of good numbers, but the cholesterol is something that is not doing so well. You can actually do something about it. Okay, so that's what we have in this particular show today. All right, okay. But is your cholesterol in a good level? So how do you know, right? Okay, so for the total, you want it to be lower the better. All right, so these are some guidelines. Okay, you can grab a screenshot of this, and if any of you want like a copy of the slides, please put it in the comments, and I will send you a copy as well. All right, so that this is very quickly you can refer to them. All right, so cholesterol, total cholesterol, the lower the better. All right, the lower the better. Okay. And then for LDL, again, you want lower the better. Remember, these are the guys who actually bring the cholesterol to your tissues. They are the ones who put down the things that block up your arteries, all right? They are the ones that causes the jam, all right? Okay, so you want it to be as low as possible. So these are some of the numbers. So just want to take note. I just want to bring attention to if your cholesterol levels for LDL is between 100 to 129, this actually can be okay for people without any other health issues or any other risk factors, all right? However, if you are, for example, you have high blood pressure, you're already on blood pressure control medication and other risk factors like a smoker and whatnot, then you really want to be even lower. You want to try to aim for below 100, all right? Okay, so this is just something you want to take note of. Okay, then for HDL, remember these are the good ones, okay, the good cholesterol. You want it to be the higher the better. So in this case, we want it to be above 60 mg for optimal health. All right. Okay. So this is where I want to bring in a lot of people ask me, are eggs okay to eat? You know, they always say that eggs have very high cholesterol, but actually eggs has very good level of HDL. So it is perfectly fine to take eggs. In fact, I myself I take 2 to 3 eggs a day. All right. Okay. Okay, then of course the triglycerides, you want it to be as low as possible because remember this is what makes your, well, basically the fats in your blood, and it can actually cause fat gain, weight gain because it deposits all this in your fat cells. Okay, all right. Okay, so these are basically the numbers to know whether you are borderline. Okay, in fact, what we are seeing is now more and more people are actually having borderline high cholesterol, even at a very young age, all right? Even in the late 20s, early 30s, is really very early for that. You know, that's why we say you check every 5 years, right? But we are noticing that many people are having borderline high cholesterol levels now, even at late 20s, early 30s. So you will want to know how you can actually reduce your risk factor, right? Okay, so how do you want to bring your LDL down? Definitely the first one is to make your exercise a habit, right? You want to get to a healthy weight, you want to quit smoking, if you drink, you want alcohol to be in moderation. But today's topic again, we're going to come back to working on your nutrition, all right? Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to talk about the foods, the best foods that you want to consume to lower your LDL, all right? Okay, so it's basically 3 things, all right? There's 3 things, okay? The 3 groups of foods that will help you to lower LDL are basically your good unsaturated fats, all right? Okay, so foods that contain good unsaturated fats will be great for you. Foods that contains plenty of soluble fiber as well, right? And then foods that contains sterol and xanose, all right? Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, so the first one I want to talk about is actually the fatty fish. I think some of you have seen this before. Okay, so we want to consume at least 1 portion of fatty fish a week. And then what are some of the examples? It can be sardines, salmon, trout, mackerel, herring, etc. And it's important for you to know, now for us, we are urban people, it may not always be possible to get fresh. The truth is, actually, tin is fine too, all right? Tin is also fine. However, you want to take note. So, for example, sardines often come in tins. You want to get those, try not to get those with like the tomato sauce, and because those are high in sodium. So you want those in water as much as possible, or just brine, all right, which is basically just salt water. Okay, so try to get those in tins, or of course you can get frozen as well. That's perfectly fine. All right. Okay, so regardless of how it comes, whether it's tin, frozen, or fresh, that's perfectly okay. And try to have at least 1 portion of it, about 140 grams of fatty fish in your nutrition plan. All right. Okay. So this is pretty much the only plant-based food. All right. Okay. The rest of the things I'm going to talk about are essentially pretty much plant-based, all right? So you'll notice that actually many places they will recommend a Mediterranean diet when it comes to being healthy, all right? If you look at the blue zones, a lot of them do subscribe to Mediterranean diet as well. Fish is one of the key things for Japanese, which is also in the blue zone, right? Okay, so for the rest of the foods we're going to talk about are mainly plant-based. So so if you cannot go plant-based completely, you can consider adding belly fish to your food instead. All right, okay. So the second group of foods that's really good in high in good saturated fats, all right, like nuts and seeds. So here are some examples. What you can do is have a handful of them a day. All right, it's about 20 to 30 grams is really a handful. All right, okay. So you can have your almonds, macadamias, cashew, hazelnuts, pistachios, etc. Okay. If you can, try to go with those that's really roasted, lightly roasted, without the salt, without added salt or any other flavors. All right, okay. So this is nuts. It's actually a great snack. All right. So instead of your chips, instead of your ice cream, grab a handful of nuts for a snack instead. All right. Okay. And a handful is a handful. Really a handful. Okay. Because we do know that people can just take a whole cup and then finish. Okay. So you want to kind of balance your calories and your healthy fat intake as well. Okay. All right. Okay. So any questions so far, please let me know in the comments. All right. I will respond to them as much as possible. Okay. So this is your good saturated fats. Okay. Now we're going to move on to fiber. All right. So fiber is also a very important group of foods, basically. All right. Food with high fiber. Basically, these are soluble fiber. You actually try. What they do is they help to kind of clean up, right? Help to clean up. So we want to introduce oat and barley. All right, we want to have plenty of oat and barley. Why? Because they tend to be rich in this this element called beta glucan. All right, so this one actually really helps you to lower your cholesterol because it helps you to kind of clean up, right? It's a soluble fiber that helps to kind of, for lack of better word, dissolve. All right, help to dissolve some sort of cholesterol. Right, okay. So for optimal effect, you want about 3 grams a day. Okay. So you can look at 3 grams, 3 servings of the following over here. Okay. So now a lot of products actually contain oats. You can take a look at all this. All right. So it can be 1 or 2 tablespoons of oat bran that you can sprinkle over your smoothie or your salads. All right. Or you can have a bowl of oat porridge, about 30 grams for your breakfast. Okay. You can have 1 type of biscuit for breakfast or like a tea time as well, or a 250 milliliters glass of oat drink. All right, okay, so all this will give you a very or rather optimal volume of beta glucan. All right, so you want to look for foods that is high in fiber, and in this case, we're talking about oat and barley, which is rich in beta glucan. All right, okay. Okay, then for fiber, we will always include vegetables and fruits as well, right? Okay, you can't run away from that. Okay, so some of the vegetables that are a little bit more effective will be your okra, your eggplant, or you can call it some people call it aubergine, right? Okay, aubergine. Okay, your chickpeas or your beans, your lentils, your chickpeas, or even some of the vegetables like sweet potato, okay, and avocado as well. Okay, avocado is a little bit of, it does contain a good level of good fat as well. Right? Okay, so these are some of the vegetables you can include to increase the fiber in your overall nutrition. All right. Okay. Then of course, in terms of fruits, these are some of the more favorite ones. So your apple, citrus fruits like orange, or any citrus, okay, not just orange, can be grapefruit, can be lemon as well. Okay, but for grapefruit, if you're already on medication for cholesterol, you should not be taking grapefruit. Okay, I'm sure the doctor will tell you this, so just be very careful. All right. Okay. Then of course you have the grapes, your prunes, and strawberries as well. So these are great sources of fiber for to lower your cholesterol. All right. Okay. Hey, then let's take a look at the type of food which contains cellulose and cellulose. Okay, so some experts actually feel that this is the #1 thing that helps to lower cholesterol, right? Okay, so I did a little bit of research. In Singapore, it is not as easy to find foods that's fortified with Cellulose and Stannose. Okay, so the only one I saw so far is actually this HL milk that has that's Spotify, Cellulose and Stannose. Okay, there is actually two other big brands, the Autocorrect and Proactive. They are around, but you may need to get them. It's a little bit harder to purchase, but you can still find it at the online supermarkets that actually import them. All right. Okay. So of course, at the same time, you do get a small amount of all this Cellulose and Stannose from plant-based foods like vegetable oils, nut seeds, and whatnot. All right. But a lot of times it may not be enough because it's actually really a small amount. Okay. So you can look up for foods that's fortified with this ingredient. All right. Okay. So as long as you take about 1 to 3 servings a day, this can actually lower your cholesterol by as much as 10% over 3 weeks. All right, so something to consider if you want to lower cholesterol really quickly. Sometimes what happens is you may have just done a test, right, and then the doctor say, oh, it's borderline high right now. You need to do something about it. So this could actually give you a little bit of a kickstart. All right, as you start your exercise and kind of overhaul your whole lifestyle as well, this will be a nice kickstart to go with. All right, okay, all right, okay. Then I want to talk about soya as well. Okay, so soya I'm talking about it is because essentially we want to have more good saturated unsaturated fats. I've been saying saturated fats, okay, but good fats. All right, okay. We do want to have less of the foods that's high in saturated fat. Okay. So soya is actually a good substitute for those. Okay, so instead of having your meat, your full cream dairy products, right, we can consider using soya, okay, to replace, because those are actually high in saturated fat, which is what we want to reduce. So soya is a good option. So you can look at 2 to 3 servings of plain soya foods. Okay, so for example, a handful of soya beans or soya nuts, rather. Okay, your soya bean curd, your soya bean drink or milk, or tofu as well. All right. So essentially, this can be a good option, especially when it comes to protein intake. If you want to reduce your intake of high saturated fat foods, soya is a great substitute. All right. Okay. So basically, I've covered what I want to say. All right. Okay. So you really want to look for foods that are good unsaturated fats, high in fiber, soluble fiber, and foods that's fortified with Cellulose and Stannose. All right. Okay. So this is essentially what will be really helpful. However, just remember that it is not just about nutrition. Nutrition is definitely one important element, but it's your overall lifestyle as well. You want to make exercise a habit. You want to make sure you have a healthy weight. You want to make sure you don't smoke, and also moderate amount of alcohol as well. All right. Okay. So basically, this is this. And let me just, okay, all right, okay, so yeah, pretty much this is what I want to say about foods that help to lower cholesterol. Okay, let me take a look at the comments. All right, hi Susmita. All right, hi Susmita. Okay, so for those of you who might have missed the live, not to worry. If you're catching the replay, if you have any questions, do put it in the comments as well. We will, or rather, I will reply to you later on. Okay, I'll come back and read it, and we'll make it a point to reply to every single comment. All right, so feel free to ask your questions over there. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed our episode today, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. All right, for another episode. All right, so if you are not already in our Facebook group, okay, this is the link to join us. All right, over there we're going to run some challenge. We're going to have a challenge coming in February, and then you're going to get also fitness hacks and lifestyle tips there as well. All right, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And if you're on Facebook, do hit us a like as well and share this with your friends. All right, okay. So in FuelFit, we believe that there is health at every size. Okay, what is more important is really that you're in good health and you're mobile and you can live a long quality life. All right, so that's it from me today. I will see you next week at the same time, 7:45. Bye bye.